Hey everyone, Junior here. I'm just going over the second game of the season championship that we played against A1. Not this past weekend, but the weekend before. So this was Truth Slayer, and I'm going to watch it from my POV. And again, mainly focus on what I'm doing in the game and just to work on my own individual skill going forward, and also learning from my team mistakes. So hopefully you guys can learn a thing or two. Here we go. So first place for camo. I think at this point, like, if you come up Pink Street, sometimes what I like to do is drop down from Pink Street onto camo, and that's okay too. But I generally take this way if I've already seen somebody here and I haven't got like the advantage on them for whatever reason. But I think if you've got a teammate who can hold off this angle long enough for you to like do a quick flank, if the enemy team hasn't pushed a guy to Pink 2, you can get like a really nice flank. So. You notice in this situation that I got caught off guard from Ali pushing pink side. There wasn't really any reason to sit P2 here and not flank these guys, so I had to risk coming out to get the angle. I guess one thing to note here is that when Ali did start shooting me, I thrusted to cover and then ducked behind cover and just called for help. Delayed my death as long as possible, and then my teammates got the cleanup. Alright, so coming off spawn in this situation, it's really hard to see sometimes without the outlines, but you could basically see from your team, and this also comes from communication. But right about this point, I'd be thinking I've got two teammates on Carbine, I've got one teammate in red base. Not much information yet. So I think Pips is still walking car 1, he hasn't seen anything. Reese is going car 2, and Luke is holding this side of the map on his own. So I think in this situation it's really important to wait for information before you make your play. Like, yes, I could run over to Pips and Reese, but then we could potentially leave Luke out to dry. And sometimes, yeah, you can run over to Luke, but then you leave Pips and Reese out to dry. So in this situation, I think Luke is the first one to start fighting, and so I respond to Luke's call out. Now Luke's clearly like up top of the base. His shields are still pretty good, so there's no point in me coming to the top of the base and standing where Luke is. I'm just going to drop down underneath the base and take the other angles, see if I can get a quick cleanup. So I backed off Madsy. Now at this point, Pips dies a little bit too quickly, and this is where I think it's really important to not be the first pick in a battle. So, I mean, it's pretty tricky. I still get it wrong, but if we go back and watch Pips in this play, I think sometimes, I mean, car 1 is not a bad play. Right here, when you're the first, one of the first guys on our team to lose shields, you've got to really be careful that you're not going to get cleaned up from either this way or this way. Now, Pips, I think, is responding to a one-shot call-out, who just drops their front base. Gets really unlucky because he has 2 shots on the guy and Sleazy doesn't die, and gets caught out in the open. But maybe could have thrust back into cover rather than dying. Reese had to back up for whatever reason, and I'm still working with Luke over here. So here I am a little bit conflicted as to who I want to help. I think Luke's asking for help, but also getting a one-shot call out there, car 1. So given that Madsy's a pretty hard kill, I can't really just run out there and try and clean him from Eli with Ali watching over him. So I would have either had to come back up through the base, or I decided to just see if I can get a quick cleanup on this guy, that car 1. Fortunately, I didn't get the cleanup, and at this point Lucas dies. So managed to get the jump on Berserk here, and when you've got this advantage where you've got a shields advantage, you just have to push that out. Alright, so at this point, get that kill, know that Berserk's going to be calling me out. Got 2 people on my radar. Again, I don't really have many teammates that can help me in this situation. All you can do is delay your death as long as you can. Alright. Alright, so again, coming off spawning in blue 2, got 2 teammates on car side, I got Luke out the front of the base, and I can only go based off the information that we've got. So I think Luke is probably shooting a guy under their base. Pips and Reese are on car side here. And yeah, I wasn't really getting information from Pips or Reese, so there's no point me pushing over there. I'm better off taking up like the other angles, like I could go window or I could try and get an angle on Pink Street. Given that I know Pips is car 2 and he's potentially going to be looking into Pink side, depending on which side he goes. If I push the street, I can work with Pips to get Pink taken over. So here I get that first pick, and immediately we should be playing off of this. I also hear a weak guy there front base. Again, it's important to snap to callouts because if someone can kill that guy quickly, that allows Reese and Pips to help us take these other two players down. Now me and Lucas should be fighting together here. So I get caught off by Barcode, but we've killed 3 of the 4 players, so I just have to delay my death here. And right now, I know that Barcode is probably going to get a trade here, so I just have to hold my thrust until Barcode jumps out, and then when my teammates start to shoot him, instantly hit that thrust to live. Again, we've got 1 dead here. I can see Pips is... Pips right here is in a really good attacking position, but let's just go see how he got there, because it looks like he died pretty easily. So... what I would do here, especially if you don't see anyone, is yeah, you could both push the car door, but again, you're not really playing off of information, and just as quickly as you both push this car door, Ali and this other guy could probably soar across the map into the other players without us getting angles on their front base. So if you look where we're positioned when I spawn in, I think the better play perhaps would have been if Reese just kind of sat watching these angles, potentially flanking the base, but you wouldn't want to get caught off in a 1v1. And then Pips could almost come back to car 2 and pressure Pink 2 and then come to this position and help Reese from here. Either way, play worked out pretty well. So after this though, let's see what happens. We end up getting 2 dead. Nice 2v2 teamwork. Now here, when you get 3 dead in like a game, like when you have 3 of the enemy players dead, this is your opportunity to take control of the map. This should be that feeling or sensation where you've got 3 dead, and if you've got 4 guys who know how to zone the enemy into one spawn point, or effectively split spawn them, you'll be laughing. So I think Pips knows that there's 3 dead. We're going to kill the last guy, so he's cautiously walking towards Carbine side here. This is really good. He's getting like some really nice shots, but then what happened was, because we were in both bases, the enemy team split spawned. It's pretty unfortunate given that Reese is already pushing this bubble. It's a weird spawn actually. Look at this. So yeah, like we're in both bases, and so they spawn in the 1 free spot, which is right behind Pips. So Slazy has an easy pinch on Pips. So, I mean, ideally, if Pips could have either jumped up here and told us that he was going to spawn the enemy in the opposite car bubble, well then we could have trapped them from all sides of the map. If Pips wants to play for more of a split spawn approach, assuming that we've got teammates who can actually soar to him and help kill the next 2 guys without group spawning them, well then we also have to call that out and be really aware. But yeah, this is pretty unfortunate for Pips. Also, I think Luke backed up here a little bit quick, maybe. Let's just watch this. So after this collapse, we still had the momentum going on here. And even though Luke's only down half shield, if Pips is card 2 calling these guys out well enough, Luke should be able to pop back out fairly quick. So he's probably going to get grenaded, but just say if that grenade popped off and then he's coming back out here instantly, well then he can potentially get better angles to help clean up these guys, like that one-shot guy car 1. Either way, Luke backs off. We've come to this car door together. Reese is still hopefully living. Again, I always drift to my teammates when I watch gameplay because I think it's really important to understand the full team plays. But I will try and focus on myself after this. So Reese flanks car. He sees that his teammate dies. Unfortunately, misses a few shots, and yeah, he was trying to get an instant flank. So he could have sat in the base, but I think he thought that because Pips was there and that we were all living, that he could get like a nice flank and live. So either way, we go 2 dead here, and immediately my brain's trying to weigh up, do we double push this guy, or do we back off? I think Ali's good enough that he knows to try and live if he sees 2 guys in front of him, and he's got 2 teammates close to him on carbine side. So I think I make the call here to back up, but this is where it's one of those situations where if you're not going to go carbine side, you kind of want to be thinking about going pink side as a team. So you can see here as we anchor this doorway for a second, I'm starting to gravitate towards pink side. Luke is doing the right job here, momentarily looking at pink street, but I think what we needed to do here was not be too scared, not run away from blue base completely, but actually use the angles from blue base to get pink side control. So yes, he has to be careful of the guy car 2. Sometimes you can just come up here for a second, put 1 or 2 shots on the guy pink, or at least you can stand in the window looking into the pink side of the base, so that you can get this angle as barcode goes P3 here, or there's a guy top mid. You can start to pressure them like this, and you can watch over your teammate, and then the whole idea is that you don't really want to push into Ali straight away. You kind of want to anchor against him and push the other way. So it doesn't work out for us in this instance. I think Pips is our first player to push pink, and for whatever reason it doesn't work. 1 second, just check. Okay, so Pips, knowing that we want to kind of be focusing barcode, pushes to P2. He's barcode P2. Here's another guy top mid. Right here, Pips is doing a really good job, but Pips has no help. So I think Lucas should be watching over Pips from the window. He's got cover fire coming in from me at this door. I should also kind of be gravitating towards this side of the map, and I think Reese spawn under the base. Reese needs to, Reese can either come out this way, or he can come out this way, or he can jump up here and like tell me that I can leave, and that way he can kind of anchor this base on his own from here, and then I can leave the base and go help the team. So either way, let's watch this one more time from my point of view. It's pretty overwhelming when your team gets stuck and there's not much you can do. But I see 2 people on that side of the map. I'll probably focus Ali a little bit too long here, just to back him down. I'm definitely tunneling Ali there. I need to like back up quicker and watch Pips, but either way Pips dies, so pretty unfortunate for our team here. We really need that angle on their pink 3 or pink side from window, so that we can get out of the base. Alright, so again I spawn here. This is one of those situations where I could have just spawned and been a bit more cautious, maybe looked car 2 before I jumped out. I decided to jump towards my teammates, but then getting caught off guard from car 2 wasn't great. So at this point I'm making a good play, but ideally if I could have been car bubble shooting this guy car 2 and backing him down, that probably would have been a better play, because now I'm abandoning my position in the bubble, and I'm just going to drop down to the bottom of the map, and I'm an easy cleanup. So I know that guy in car is trying to clean me, so I'm just trying to respond to like other guys on the map. Unfortunately, don't get the cleanup on Slazy. I want to try and help my teammate Luke. Get a good kill on Berserk, but then get taken out. So again, we're just trying to find our footing on the map here. We push out red base here. Alright, so I spawned low blue right now. Luke's sitting in front of the other base. Got 2 teammates here, so yeah, without the information, I know we're stacked on pink side, I know Camo's coming up, and I know Luke's over on that side of the map. So let's just see what happens here. Barco does a really good job of living and somehow thrusting out to live. Just quickly see what I could have done better here. Alright, so keeping in mind Camo's coming up, if I could have maybe shot that guy once and then turned and shot this guy on their P street, that would have been more relevant to the camo play, and then my teammates would have had a much easier time trying to clean up the guy P1. Still cleaned him up, but now I'm getting shot cross map from the guy I should have been shooting probably. Other way, Barco did a really good job of living, and we ended up both going low here. So this is probably not something I'm a very big fan of. Unless you've got full map control and you just want to get to the other side of the map quick. But I think when Camo comes up here, for whatever reason, Reese drops here, but I think at this point when Reese calls us we call that pink street. I think Reese should jump back up and push this direction to kill this guy, rather than us both coming down pink 1 to get the same angle. Because now what happens is we get a great kill, and Zerk's still living pink 3. He's got no pressure on him, and so he can just soar out into the middle of the map, clean me up, and no one's even shooting him. So definitely staying up high in Halo is really important, and sometimes ignoring the guys down low as best you can. Alright, so again I spawn in red 2, got a teammate on the other side of the map, Reese. Luke's, I don't know, the closest teammate I guess who's in battle. Reese is out in the front of the enemy's base. High chance that he's going to die, but Pips is going to help him. So I walk over to Luke on this side, watching over him. End up cleaning up his kill. Immediately looking over to my other teammate. Now, this potentially is a little bit slow what I'm doing here. I probably could have broken out of the map by going car 2 to top mid to get this angle. I guess what I was trying to do here is make sure that the enemy team doesn't spawn behind us, but chances are Reese would have spawned there anyway. But anyway, let's see what I do to recover. So once I know Reese has spawned there, I'm coming back to car 2 to help Luke. Again, I'm trying to trap the enemy in their base. There's 2 good plays you could do here. One, you could go car 2, see, like help Luke if he needs help, but then otherwise turn and help your teammates this way. I chose to go car 1, which in this situation probably wasn't great, especially because I'm not suppressing their window, and now getting caught out in no man's land. So yeah, I probably could have gone top mid there. That would have been a better play. Again, I'm going to keep focusing on myself a little bit more. So 2 dead, the guy top mid, easy clean, 3 dead, 4 dead. So I think this is the first time in the game where we get the enemy team 4 dead. So what you want to do is instantly zone the enemy into one spot of the map where you know that you can all instantly take advantage of that. So you should notice that we start to spread out. So Pips is kind of taking ground down that way. Reese should be going probably to top mid. Luke should be moving towards Carbine side. And I should probably be going to top mid as well. I don't know exactly why I'm pushing this way. Oh, this is so unfortunate. So let's see what happens here. So 2 dead, 3 dead, 4 dead. Okay, so given that the first 2 died earlier on, and then these last 2 died after, and Pips does see the 2 guys here, I think maybe the thrust out of pink 2 isn't ideal. If we could have had, say, Pips see these 2 guys, thrust back, call that they're spawning red, well then we could have made a different play. So again, some teams like to split spawn the enemy, some teams like to trap the enemy. I think in this situation, we don't really have a clear way of split spawning them. Maybe we do, like if Pips was shooting from Pink Street and I saw it under the base, and then Reese came to the top of the base, and then we kind of tried to kill them really quickly. I just think sometimes that the enemy team, you know, because it wasn't, it's hard to say. But if the enemy team spawned here, there's potential that these guys can live long enough where we're going to have trouble to actually clean those guys up. We didn't really have that car side, so I probably would have tried to split spawn these guys if we already had car side and we were able to trap them red and flank like around all angles onto 2 guys, clean them up. But in this situation, if Pips could have lived, Reese could have gone pink 3 and taken this angle, and then I could have just jumped up to top mid, and then Luke could say come sit here for a second and block the blue spawn, but also get ready to push car. Well then we could trap the enemy team in red, and after I've jumped top mid, I could also push car like this to help Luke block that spawn point. Then you got the whole enemy team trapped in red, and you've actually got the advantage you set out to achieve when you had 4 dead. So yeah, this is really unfortunate. Pips jumps out. I am soaring into red base. I think we probably both misplayed this. So right when you got 4 guys dead, rather than getting full control of the map, these guys have made a play where, and it's a good play, like this is what teams should do when they're trying to break off of spawn. So, where did they go? 4 dead. So that's 1 dead, 2 dead, 3 dead, 4 dead, and Barcode spawned in. He's deciding that he wants to kind of push pink side here. Now this isn't necessarily, just because they've decided to go this way, it doesn't mean that they should get it, because we're fairly stacked on pink side. So if Barcode went this way and saw Pips there, and then Pips started shooting him and backed him off, well then Barcode wouldn't have pushed this way. He would have ended anchor this side of the base, and then his team probably would have flooded out through this free space here to create space on the map. Either way, they still punish Pips for overexposing himself. The reason they could do this is because Ali took the same angle as his teammate, which is often good, and they melted him. So 2 or 3 shots from each of them, and that guy's dead already, which opens up the map, allows Barcode and Ali to, push an area of the map that they otherwise wouldn't have pushed, and now Slazy's spawning Carbine side, so they're getting a heap of real estate on the map with very little effort. So I ended up thrust sliding under the base, waiting for help. Always good to let your teammates shoot a player before you start shooting them if you can in these close quarters combats. I don't know how I don't kill Barcode there, to be honest. I think this is like I guess what they call red bar. So let's count these bullets. Barcode's full shield. 1, 2. Oh, no, I did miss a shot. That sucks. Alright. He didn't deserve to die, and I don't think he's even red barred. Nah, not quite red barred. I just missed the shot. Okay, so here we've played some pretty atrocious plays as a team, and it's still 25-25 somehow. So tells that this region is pretty sloppy still, and that both teams need to learn how to control the map better. So okay. Again, pretty risky play doing what I just did, and I choked. So I think coming off of spawn, I don't really want to watch this again, but let's watch it again. So here, Pips is in a blue. Luke just died there, so I think the reason I sat here, well, I should have sat here. We were 2 dead. If I push into blue, there's a chance that this player just pushes over Carbine, gets to here, and traps us all in blue. So sometimes I like to kind of just sit and hold the different areas of the map. So if Pips pushes more over that side, I hold this side, and you're just playing for information. I'm not exactly sure why I'm pushing this. 3v2 right now, and I'm just exposing myself on like a really bad angle. If I wanted to push car 1, this would have been safer, but yeah, I don't even know if I knew the guy was down there. Must have. And then right here, I just had a really bad battle. So yeah, teammates end up getting pushed on. So here, I spawn in, we're already down a number, and I'm finding resistance is heavy on this side of the map. So again, like, this is where you should kind of hold this side of the map while you push into red. So hopefully our team's pushing red here. We can see there's a guy at the Eli. I don't really want all 4 of us pushing into red, because then the enemy team's just going to leave us there and take car side up. So one of us has to kind of stay car. That's what I'm doing here. Slazy and Barcode are doing a really good job of watching over each other and also trying to push car 2. I probably needed a bit more help than I'm getting here. I think probably 1 guy on this side of the map, 1 guy car attic watching pink, and then 2 of us fighting on this side would have been more ideal, so that we're actually matching what they're doing. Alright, so 2 dead, now it's 2 on 2. So I've got to try and work with my teammate on Pink Street Pips. Better than what those 2 guys are working with each other. So we get Madzy to 1 shot, Pips gets another kill, Madzy chases me. Could have been better, but camo's coming up somewhere here. Alright, so get a cleanup kill on Madzy bottom mid. Immediately want to try and get over to my teammates. We go 2 dead. And I think I'm about to get caught off guard. So yeah, starts to get a little bit desperate. It's really important to try and take your time still, check your angles, think about where the enemy team's going to be hiding. So yeah, again, right here, it's about not necessarily just rushing out in any given direction. I think it's good for your whole team to try and get information from their death cams. You know, maybe we had information that there was two guys in red, one guy top mid, well then maybe we could have flooded car together. Either way, we got a kill. It's just a bit unfortunate that Luke died. But yeah, we could quickly just break down this spawn point here where we're getting trapped. Not this play. I think it's Pip spawns first. Alright, so right here, based on our death cams, based on information, we need to there's a guy weak at the Eli, so Pips is fine to stand here. Then Reese might just sit here and watch over him, but we might not necessarily push into that base if there's no clear advantage. And then Luke and I might decide to double push car. But the way we do this is we should do it kind of together. So we should probably communicate that a bit better. Like Luke should be like, yo, Junior, push car with me, and then we should walk at it together so that we can double burn the person that we see first. Either way, I don't know if I was looking cross map or something else. Didn't get the shots on him straight away for Luke. But yeah, it's just a communication thing and also watching your death cams. So Reese ends up dying. I know the enemy team's going to start collapsing in on us. Trying to help Pips, but can't. So right here, again, it's going to be too hard for us to push into red. Those two guys we can kind of make irrelevant for a second while we focus ping 3 and ping 2. Now, it may look like I'm trying to focus the guys in red, but you can kind of do the same thing from here. So, can shoot across to their 3. Again, 2 dead. Whenever it's a 2-on-2 situation, you kind of want to just play it how you would if it was a 2-on-2. So like this guy here probably shouldn't be running this way. He should probably be coming top mid to kind of coordinate something with me, or vice versa. Again, I know that the enemy team's from information that there was 2 guys on the pink street, so I'm just going to drop out of the attic. I'm just going to take my time. We are getting pushed by a lot of people here. Just living, waiting for help from teammates is always good. Pretty messy battle, just we end up getting a couple of kills out of it. So yeah, Camo's coming up, here we're 2 dead. They got a quick flank on Camo. Yeah, at this point the game's over. They were running around really quick, and yeah, so I think probably what I would learn from this game is, yeah, really just communication off of spawn points, similar to probably the first game that we played against these guys. Our combination of players on this team probably haven't had as much experience as these guys, kind of playing against a fast-paced team and getting it off of spawn and how that looks. But I think it all comes back to watching your death cams. In Halo 5, for some reason, we can watch death cams and get free information. So it's really important to be looking at your death cam and then communicating that to your teammates, and then trying to form a plan almost before you've even spawned in. And you kind of want all 3 of you guys, the initial 3 players, to be making a play together. They don't all have to be right next to each other, but kind of with a similar objective. And then that 4th guy can spawn into like a nice team play where he can kind of anchor and cut off other angles of the map and watch over his team. And yeah, I hope you guys learned something. It's a bit tough reviewing games that we lost, but that's what I like to do to improve my own gameplay. And if other people did the same, I think that as a community we would get a lot better, a lot more quickly. And so yeah, there'll be one more film in this series. I've got another tournament coming up tomorrow. I've just teamed up with Vamped and Mental Blank. My goodness. Vamped and Rambo. Gee, I almost planned that one. Yeah, hopefully we all rock up. Hopefully we all play well. We're going to have a scrim tonight. That'll be our first scrim together. So yeah, not ideal going into a tournament game, but we're going to try and see how this team unfolds over the next couple of weeks. See if it stays the same team or if we mix it up a little bit. But yeah, it'd be good to have you guys in the stream sometimes to support us. Yeah, thanks guys. Thanks for watching.